Stepping onto the plane, I exhaled a mix of exhaustion and relief. Weeks of relentless meetings had earned me a first-class seat for this long-haul flight, and I was ready for champagne, a reclining seat and uninterrupted peace. I stowed my carry-on, buckled in, and barely adjusted my belt when a shriek shattered the calm. A blonde woman in oversized sunglasses and a designer tracksuit stomped down the aisle, dragging her suitcase like she was declaring war. She stopped dead at my seat, her face twisting into outrage, and bellowed, "You're in my seat." Loud enough to turn heads 3 rows back, I blinked, double-checked my ticket, and calmly said, "No, this is my seat," showing her the boarding pass, expecting a quick fix with a glance at hers, but instead she sighed dramatically, rolled her eyes, and crossed her arms like a kid denied candy, snapping, "No, that's my seat. I fly this route all the time, I always sit here," as if her frequent flyer status trumped my ticket. I kept cool. "I have a confirmed ticket for this seat," holding it up, but she scoffed, flipping her hair, "There's clearly been a mistake," and turned to a flight attendant with fake sweetness. "Excuse me, there's a problem. This man's in my seat." My peace was gone, and I knew this was just the start. The flight attendant, a pro with a polite but firm smile, asked, "Ma'am, may I see your boarding pass?" Karen's smugness flickered as she dug through her overstuffed handbag, producing a crumpled pass with a flourish. The attendant glanced at it, paused, and said, "Ma'am, your seat is 23B. This is 4A, which belongs to this gentleman," her tone neutral but final. Silence hung heavy. Karen blinked, then shook her head. "No, that's not possible. I always fly first class. There's a system error." The attendant didn't flinch. "I assure you there's no mistake. You're seated in economy today." And that's when the meltdown ignited. She threw her hands up, voice climbing. "This is ridiculous. I paid for first class. I need to sit here. I have a medical condition. I can't sit in economy." Heads turned, whispers spread, and I stayed quiet, watching her bulldoze reality with entitlement. The attendant, still calm, replied, "I understand your frustration, but your ticket is for economy. Unless there's a confirmed upgrade, 23B is your seat." Karen's eyes darted to me, darkening. "You should just switch with me. It's just a seat. You're young and healthy. You don't need it as much as I do." The audacity floored me, but I held back, sensing she was a powder keg ready to blow, and leaned toward the attendant, waiting for the next act in this absurd drama. She wasn't done. Logic bounced off her like rain off a windshield. Taking a deep breath, she squared her shoulders, smugness replacing frustration, and declared, "You don't understand who you're dealing with. I'm a well-known social media personality, over 100,000 followers on Facebook, a huge audience," turning slightly to ensure the cabin watched. "If I post about this, how this airline treats loyal customers, it'll go viral," she bragged, yanking out her phone. "I get tons of engagement. When I say something's wrong, people listen. I could ruin your airline with bad publicity." The attendant blinked. I froze, stunned she'd play the influencer card over a seat. She tapped her screen, smirking. "I've recommended this airline so many times, but now I might tell them to boycott. Imagine the damage." A guy ahead muttered, "Who still uses Facebook for influencing?" And a snort rippled through. Karen pressed on, oblivious. "Don't bother with upgrades. I shouldn't have to pay when I'm giving you free marketing." This wasn't a tantrum anymore. It was a one-woman circus, and I settled in, knowing the flight was about to get wild. Karen's influencer threat hung in the air like a bad smell. Her phone clutched like a weapon as she tapped away. Smugly convinced, she just checkmated the airline. Passengers stifled laughs. The flight attendant's polite smile held firm, and I sat back, marveling at the gall of someone trying to blackmail her way into my seat with a Facebook post. She waved off an upgrade offer. "I shouldn't have to pay when I'm basically marketing you." The absurdity peaked when a woman a few rows back perked up. "Oh, I know you. You're that lady who got banned from a hotel over their continental breakfast last year." The cabin's energy shifted. Karen's face flushed red. "That was completely different. They lied about amenities. I was right to call them out." But the woman shrugged. "I saw the security footage, looked pretty bad," and chuckles spread, her influencer cred crumbling as we realized she wasn't a star, just a repeat offender of ridiculous tantrums. Undeterred, she spun back to the attendant, voice desperate. "I'll blast this airline all over social media. I have influence. Let me have the seat. I won't post anything bad. I'll even give a good review." Blackmailing with a positive review was a new low, and I bit back a laugh as the attendant replied, That's not how this works. If you keep disturbing passengers, I'll call security. Karen gasped, "You're threatening me?" Clutching her chest like she'd been stabbed, she whipped out her phone's camera, hitting record. "Hey guys, I'm live, sharing what's happening right now. This airline's humiliating me, refusing to accommodate me even though I'm a paying customer who deserves respect." She angled it at the attendant, then me, snarling, "This guy won't let me sit here even though it wouldn't affect him." I resisted waving, staying silent as she paused, expecting a flood of sympathy. Instead, a guy ahead snorted, "She's got like 10 viewers," and her face twitched. Doubt crept in, her grand live stream a dud, but before she could pivot, a deep voice cut through, "Excuse me, what's the issue here?" The pilot strode in, tall, authoritative, stripes gleaming on his uniform, and Karen's bravado faltered, her petty fight now facing the captain. The attendant briefed him. "This passenger refuses her economy seat, 23B, and is disturbing first," switched gears, shuddering dramatically. "I don't know what's happening, I just asked for help, but these people attacked me, made fun of me. It's harassment, I feel unsafe." Pointing vaguely at me and the cabin, playing victim with crocodile tears, but the captain's raised eyebrow showed he wasn't buying it. "You feel unsafe?" he asked, unimpressed. She nodded frantically. "Yes, they're ganging up on me, I'm a loyal customer." He turned to the attendant. "What'd she say about her seat?" "Claimed it was first class, but it's 23B, came the reply, and he checked his tablet. "Ma'am, you booked an economy ticket 5 weeks ago, no upgrade requested or purchased." Karen froze, laughter rippling through as she stammered. "No, I didn't lie, maybe a mix-up." Caught flat-footed, she clutched her chest. "You're treating me like a criminal, I just wanted kindness." The captain sighed, patience thinning. "You have 2 choices. Take 23B now or be removed. You're delaying this flight, and if you refuse, security's next." Her jaw dropped. "You can't do that. I have rights." "Yes," he shot back, "to economy not." Just as she reeled, 2 security officers appeared at the cabin's edge, summoned by the escalating chaos. Her eyes widened, the stakes spiking. She wasn't just arguing now, she was teetering on a ban, and I leaned back, popcorn-free but ready for the show. Karen stood frozen, pinned by the captain's ultimatum and the security officer's looming presence. Her eyes darted wildly between the pilot, the crew, and the passengers now openly snickering, her grandstand crumbling as reality closed in. "I can't sit in economy," she cried, voice cracking with desperation. "I paid for this flight, I have rights, you can't force me back there." The captain sighed. "Ma'am, this is the final time I'll ask. Take your assigned seat or you're off this flight." His tone sharp and done. She shook her head. "You're treating me like a criminal. I did nothing wrong." A security officer, a no-nonsense woman, stepped forward. "If you keep refusing crew instructions, you'll be escorted off. Failure to comply with FAA regulations can mean legal action." And Karen gasped, "Legal action?" Panic flared as she spun, seeking allies. "You can't be serious. I'm not a criminal, I just want the seat I deserve." A guy a few rows back groaned, "For the love of God, lady, take your seat or get off." And the cabin erupted, passengers fed up. "You're delaying our flight." "I'll miss my connection." "I paid for first class too." The officer raised a hand to hush them. "Ma'am, final warning, 23B now or you're gone. If we remove you, no flying today and TSA will review." TSA review hit her like a brick. Her body tensed, real fear flashing as she grasped the stakes. Not just this flight, but a potential ban from all air travel. "I suggest you be banned permanently." A sharp voice cut in. The front row passenger, a suited man with a gleaming watch, lowered his newspaper, his calm authority chilling the air. "People like her disrupt flights, endanger crew, and ruin travel. She doesn't deserve a second chance." Karen's jaw dropped. "Who even are you?" He pulled a badge, holding it up, "FAA investigator," and the cabin went dead silent, her face drained, an actual regulator witnessing her meltdown, and she shrieked, "You can't ban me, I didn't do anything wrong." The officer advanced. "That's it, you're being removed." Chaos exploded. She grabbed my seat, wailing like she was bound for a dungeon. "No, I have rights, I'll sue." Zip ties snapped onto her wrists, her screams cut off, and passengers cheered, some clapping, others filming. A guy in economy yelled, "This is going straight to TikTok." As she was hauled down the aisle, red-faced and humiliated, the crew regaining control at last. The doors slammed shut behind her, relief washing over us like a cool breeze. Laughter broke out, heads shook, and sarcastic applause trickled from the back as the captain announced takeoff. "That was insane," the guy across from me muttered, still staring at the empty aisle, his wife scoffing. "The most entitled person I've ever seen." Wi-Fi flicked on and whispers turned to gasps. It's trending. A young guy in business casual flashed his phone, a Twitter post screaming, "Lady melts down after lying about first-class ticket, gets dragged off in zip ties, Airline Karen." Videos already spreading from every angle. "She's screwed," someone chuckled, an older woman adding, "Good, people like that make travel hell." The lead attendant stopped by my seat, exhausted but smiling. "Thanks for your patience, that was a lot. The captain says your next upgrade on us." I blinked. "Seriously?" "Seriously, and he never does that." She grinned, while the FAA guy ahead mused. "Wouldn't surprise me if she sues. Entitled types always play victim." The attendant groaned, but he smirked. "It won't go anywhere. She broke FAA rules, that's criminal." And I settled in, the flight finally mine again. Karen's chaos, now the internet's problem. The plane hummed steady an hour into the flight, my champagne finally in hand, when a gasp jolted me. "Oh my God, she's posting about it." A cluster of passengers huddled around a phone, the business casual guy refreshing Twitter, eyes wide. "She's trying to flip the story." I grabbed my own phone, hooked to Wi-Fi, and hit Facebook, betting Karen would cry victim there. Sure enough, her post glowed fresh, 30 minutes old. "I can't believe I was just removed from a flight for no reason. The crew treated me like garbage, passengers bullied me, humiliated me just for asking for decency. I needed first class for a medical condition, and they laughed and had me arrested. I'm traumatized. Share this for justice, boycott this airline." Laughter erupted. "She's spinning this." A woman scoffed. "She got zip-tied off." The comments split fast. One camp who'd seen the videos tore her apart. "You screamed at staff and refused to move. Cry harder, Karen." Zip-tied off a plane, no way to look good. While her loyal Facebook flock rallied. "So sorry this happened. I shared your post. It's disgusting." "Sue them. We stand with you." The guy gasped. "She's telling people to find the passengers' social media and hold them accountable." I scrolled. There it was. "I don't know who the man in 4A was, but he was so mean. If anyone knows him, let me know." My stomach dropped. She was trying to dox me. "She's insane," I muttered as a notification flashed. "Breaking news. Airline issues statement on viral passenger incident." I clicked. "Today, a disruptive passenger was removed from a flight. We prioritize safety, security, and FAA regulations. The individual violated multiple policies, including claiming an unpurchased seat. Their case is with authorities. We don't tolerate threats to passengers or crew." "Yes." A passenger grinned. "They're calling her out." "She's banned for sure." Another laughed, and I glanced back at Karen's post. Her comments imploded, supporters flipping. "Wait, you didn't have a first-class ticket." "I just saw the video, you got zip-tied. I'm embarrassed I defended you." Her base abandoned her live as the airline's truth hit. She must have seen it too, because minutes later her accounts vanished. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, poof, like a failing startup torching its site before collapse. "She deleted everything." The guy across me muttered, "Too late. The internet never forgets." Screenshots flooded Twitter and Reddit, her doxing attempt preserved, and the business casual guy grinned. "She's on r/public freakout. Karen gets zip-tied off flight, tries to dox passengers, backfires hilariously. She's done." A whistle cut through, all over a seat. As news networks grabbed the story, my phone buzzing with a reporter's request. "We're covering the viral airline incident. Care to share a first-hand account, anonymously if preferred?" I nearly choked. "They're reaching out already." Showing my screen, the guy next to me snorting. "Of course, it's national news." We held the narrative now, witnesses to her meltdown, and Karen had no reins left. Then my phone buzzed again, a private message from her. "Hey, I know we got off on the wrong foot, but could you help? This is out of control. People are attacking me. Maybe post it wasn't that bad. I don't want my life ruined over one mistake, please." I blinked. She'd tried to steal my seat, gaslit the flight, lied online, and now begged me to save her. Before I could reply, another alert hit. "Airline confirms passenger banned indefinitely." She was blacklisted, her fake influencer gig and entitled swagger gone. I stared at her plea, then closed the app, no response. She'd built this crash, and I wasn't her parachute. Karen's desperate message lingered on my screen as the plane cruised. Her plea for me to whitewash her meltdown almost comical after she'd tried to hijack my seat, sick her followers on me, and tank the airline with lies. Before I could even smirk at the nerve, the business casual guy refreshed his feed. "She's on TMZ now." I leaned over, catching the headline. "Viral airline Karen banned after first-class tantrum," paired with a brutal split image. Left, her filtered Starbucks selfie captioned, "Manifesting positivity." Right, a grainy shot of her zip-tied, mid-scream, security hauling her off. "The meme potential's insane," he chuckled, as passengers buzzed. Her deletion spree hadn't stopped the flood. Screenshots of her doxing attempt and victim act plastered across Reddit, Twitter, her downfall a wildfire she couldn't douse. The flight attendants prepped the doors, and as we taxied to the gate, the real show began. Through the window, I spotted airport security at the arrival desk. Two officers chatting with an airline rep clutching a thick stack of papers. Karen, oblivious, marched ahead, head high like she'd won, until the rep looked up, smiling. "Ms. Karen's last name." She froze, and an officer stepped forward. "We need a word about your behavior on Flight 1765. You're facing FAA review and airline penalties, banned indefinitely from our carrier." Her jaw dropped. "What?" Passengers stifled laughs as she shrieked. "This is a joke. I deleted everything. The videos are fake. I demand a lawyer." The officer adjusted his radio comm. "I advise you to cooperate. You're reported to TSA. Noncompliance means further restrictions," and her face went white. A baggage handler pushing a cart did a double take. "Wait, is that the woman from the video?" Grinning, he whipped out his phone. "Oh my God, yes, her." Travelers in the terminal started whispering, some filming, others giggling, and then a voice boomed. "Hey, look, it's the Airline Karen." She snapped toward it, eyes wild, as applause broke out. Not sarcastic, but real, from airline staff, handlers, strangers, a standing ovation for her exit. She stormed past, shaking with fury, face twisted in humiliation, disappearing down the terminal as a tweet updated. Airline Karen escorted out. Applause was beautiful. Goodbye, Karen. The internet wasn't done, her every rant preserved, and I stepped off the plane, phone buzzing with that reporter's request still unanswered, her private grovel unread. She'd torched herself, and I wasn't lifting a finger to douse it. The terminal buzzed with her wake. People swapped stories. Saw her on TikTok. She's all over Reddit. And I grabbed my bag, dodging the chaos she'd left. Her ban was official, her influencer career ash, her entitlement a punchline, yet that message nagged. Part of me wanted to reply, "You did this." But silence felt sharper, letting her stew in the mess she'd sown. The FAA guy from the flight brushed past, muttering to the rep, "File that report. People like her don't learn." And I nodded to myself. She wouldn't. Her tantrum had cost her flying rights, maybe more if fines hit, all for a seat she never owned. My phone lit up again. Another news outlet, same pitch, and I smirked, pocketing it. We'd landed, her drama was theirs now, and I headed for the exit, finally free of her noise. The champagne's memory sweeter knowing she'd never sip it. Or board a plane. Again. She'd wanted first class, got a blacklist instead, and as the terminal's applause faded behind me, I knew justice had taken off without her. The terminal's echo of applause faded as I wove through the crowd. Karen's escorted exit, a spectacle still buzzing on lips and screens. My phone vibrated nonstop, news requests piling up, her pathetic plea unanswered in my inbox, and I couldn't shake the surreal weight of it all. A flight I boarded for peace had spiraled into a viral circus, her entitlement the star, me an unwilling front row witness. I grabbed a coffee, scrolling Twitter. #Airline Karen trended top, memes exploding. Her zip-tied scream photoshopped onto movie posters. Her "I have 100,000 followers" brag captioned over a deserted Facebook Live. Her doxing attempt a Reddit thread titled, "Karen's Revenge Flops." The internet feasted, her deletion futile against screenshots that live forever. "She's done," a barista muttered, glancing at his own phone. "Saw her on TMZ, banned for life." And I nodded, sipping, marveling at how fast she'd gone from wannabe influencer to cautionary tale. Passengers from the flight lingered nearby, swapping clips. "This one's got her threatening the pilot." And I smirked, her downfall a group project we'd all fueled, her control slipping the second she'd opened her mouth. Back home, the story metastasized. CNN ran passenger banned after mid-flight meltdown. Fox splashed entitled influencer grounded. And my inbox swelled with outlets begging for my take. Anonymous if preferred. I ignored them, but not her message, rereading it. "Hey, I know we got off on the wrong foot, but could you help? This is out of control, people are attacking me. Maybe post it wasn't that bad. I don't want my life ruined over one mistake, please." The gall twisted my gut, her begging me to lie after she'd tried to steal my seat, gaslight the plane, and sick her followers on us. I hovered over reply. You torched your own life, not my problem, but held off, letting silence sting sharper. Then the airline's update dropped. Passenger violated FAA regulations, banned indefinitely, case with TSA and local authorities. Fines up to $35,000 loomed, a flight ban likely permanent, and I pictured her, phone dark, realizing her medical condition. Sob story wouldn't fly with the feds. The flight attendant's promise echoed, next upgrade, on us. And I grinned, a quiet perk while Karen faced a blacklist she'd earned, her 10-viewer livestream no match for the millions now mocking her. Social media was relentless. Her hotel breakfast tantrum resurfaced. Same Karen, different meltdown, tying her to a pattern of chaos. Her followers dwindled, comments flipping from "we stand with you" to "you lied, unsubscribe." Her base evaporated as the airline's statement and passenger videos drowned her spin. A TikTok stitched her "I'm traumatized" with a zip tie clip, captioned "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes," racking 1 million likes. Her doxing backfired too, no one outing me, just her name plastered as the villain. "She's a meme now," my neighbor texted, linking a Reddit post. "Airline Karen's greatest hits," her every shriek a punchline. I leaned back, coffee cooling, the flight a distant hum. Her tantrum had delayed us, sure, but it had grounded her forever while I'd landed with a story and a free upgrade. She'd wanted first class, got a ban, and as notifications piled, another reporter, "We'll pay for your account." I muted them, her plea still unanswered. She built this pyre, seat theft, threats, lies, and lit it with that live stream. I wasn't her savior, just the guy in 4A who'd watched her crash, and as the internet crowned her Airline Karen, I knew she'd never escape the turbulence she'd flown into. The days after landing stretched into a media storm I couldn't dodge. My phone buzzed with news pings. "Airline Karen goes viral." Her zip-tied exit plastered across every outlet, her name, or at least her infamy, a household joke. I muted notifications, but her message lingered, unopened since the flight, a pathetic lifeline she'd tossed after torching her own ship. "Help me. This is out of control." And I still hadn't replied, her plea souring each time I reread it against her lies and doxing threats. Social media was a slaughterhouse. Twitter churned out Airline Karen memes. Her 100,000 followers brag over a screenshot of 10 viewers, her medical condition mocked with needs first class for her ego. Reddit's R public freakout crowned her a legend, her hotel tantrum clip stitched with the flight fiasco. Karen's chaos tour. Even TikTok teens danced to her screams, her humiliation a global hit, her deleted accounts irrelevant as screenshots kept her alive. The airline doubled down. "We're cooperating with FAA and TSA, passenger safety is paramount," hinting at fines and a permanent ban while passengers from the flight, me included, got emails offering loyalty points, a quiet sorry for the circus. I smirked, sipping coffee, her downfall a gift that kept giving. Her spin unraveled faster than she'd shrieked. Ex-followers turned. "I defended you, but you lied about the ticket." Her Facebook empire imploding as the airline's statement and our videos drowned her traumatized act. A news segment aired passenger interviews, the business casual guy grinning. She thought she'd go viral, well, she did. And I ducked calls from reporters. Their anonymous account offers tempting but unnecessary, her fate sealed without my voice. TSA's review leaked. Disruptive passenger flagged, potential no-fly list. And I pictured her grounded, staring at a dead phone, her influencer career ash, her travel days done. The FAA guy's words echoed. She broke regulations, criminal offense. Up to $35,000 in fines loomed, a price tag for a seat she never owned, and I chuckled, her first-class dream now a legal nightmare. My neighbor texted, "Saw her on CNN, your flight's famous," linking a clip of the captain, stone-faced. "We don't tolerate threats," and I nodded, the memory of her zip-tied wail a petty victory, her ban my quiet trophy. Life settled, work beckoned, the flight a wild blip, but Karen's ghost clung. Her message sat there, a digital relic of her desperation, and I finally opened it again, weighing a reply. "You delayed us, lied, tried to dox me, deal with it." But closed it, silence still sharper, letting her stew in the mess she'd made. The internet wasn't done. TMZ ran, Karen's blacklist confirmed. Her breakfast meltdown tied to this, a pattern of entitlement no one pitied. My upgrade voucher arrived, the attendant's promise real, and I booked a trip, grinning at the irony. She'd lost flying, I'd gained perks. A late-night scroll showed her name trending again. Some sleuth dug up an old blog, manifesting my best life, now flooded with comments. Manifested a ban, huh? Her positivity shtick a punchline, her 100K followers a myth exposed by 10 viewers. I leaned back, the flight's chaos fatting. Her tantrum had been a blip for me, a life ender for her. She'd stormed in, demanding my seat, and stormed out, banned, broke, and memed. While I sipped coffee, free of her noise, the internet's justice harsher than any reply I could have sent. She'd wanted attention, got infamy, and I was just the guy in 4A who'd watched her crash land. Weeks later, the dust settled, or so I thought. But Karen's meltdown clung like turbulence, her name a permanent fixture in the internet's hall of shame. My phone quieted, news requests fatting, but her message stayed unanswered, a ghost I'd let haunt her more than me. Help me, I don't want my life ruined. Too late, her life was a meme Airline Karen etched in digital stone, her zip-tied exit replayed on late-night shows, her 100,000 followers, a laugh track to her 10-viewer flop. The airline's ban held. FAA fines loomed, TSA's no-fly list whispered, her travel days grounded forever, and I pictured her holed up somewhere, scrolling her own infamy, powerless as screenshots outlived her deletions. Reddit crowned her Karen of the Year, her hotel tantrum and flight fiasco a double feature, TikTok kids lip-syncing her I have rights. She'd wanted first class, got a blacklist, and I sipped coffee at home, my upgrade voucher tucked away, a quiet win from her loud loss. Work resumed, the flight a wild story swapped over beers. Friends gaped, "You were on that plane?" And I shrugged, "Just wanted champagne." Her chaos a footnote to my piece, her ban my punchline. The internet wasn't done, TMZ dug deeper. Airline Karen's past, a trail of tantrums, linking her to a banned gym membership she'd screamed over a towel, her influencer facade shredded. Her blog, once manifesting positivity, was a troll graveyard, comments like manifested a zip tie queen. Her followers gone, her lies exposed, her doxing attempt a dud that never touched me, just cemented her as the villain. The airline sent a survey, rate your experience on flight 1765, and I grinned, giving 5 stars, nodding, crew handled a nutcase like pros. The captain's calm and the attendant's promise, that free upgrade shining through her storm. A news blip confirmed her fate. Passenger faces $20,000 fine, permanent ban. No lawsuit materialized, her I'll sue. As hollow as her Facebook clout, and I booked that next trip, first class again, her absence a gift I'd savor. Her message lingered one last night. I opened it, typed, "You delayed us, lied, tried to ruin me, enjoy the memes," but deleted it, silence still sweeter. She'd begged for my help, got the world. Instead, a viral reckoning she couldn't spin. Life moved on, spring hit, flights smoothed out, and Karen faded to a cautionary buzzword. Don't pull an airline Karen. My neighbor texted a final clip, her breakfast rant remixed with the zip-tie wail. Karen's greatest hits. 1 million views, and I laughed, her empire of entitlement ash, her medical condition a joke no one bought. The attendant's words echoed as I boarded that next flight. Your upgrade on us. And I reclined, champagne in hand, the cabin quiet, no shrieks, no tantrums, just peace she'd never know. Her ban was my luxury, her infamy my story to tell, or not, the reporters long ignored, her plea a relic I'd never touch. She'd stormed in, demanding my seat, throwing fits, playing victim, and crashed out. Banned, fined, memed. While I flew on, the guy in 4A who'd watched her spiral. The internet crowned her, the FAA grounded her, and I landed soft, her turbulence a distant hum. She'd wanted attention, got infamy, her first-class dream a zip-tied nightmare. And as the plane soared, I toasted the silence, her chaos a runway she'd never cross again, her reign over in a flash of viral justice I'd never forget.